So we'll know next time, okay? When it really matters more. All right. So,
From the beginning.
okay, so put that away. Okay.
Okay. So we've all been told repeatedly that our communication skills are of the utmost importance because we may not know exactly who we're speaking to. And I'd like to share a story from just last week where I found out how important this really is. So you may or may have not have noticed that last Thursday and Friday I was missing from some of our classes, and that was because I was visiting one of the most powerful investment banks in the world. I was invited to a summit for undergraduate women in finance, and there were girls flown in from all over the country. There were about 50 of us who were flown in, and we got lectures and coaching on how the investment bank is structured, what it actually does, and how to interview for jobs with these kinds of firms. And at the conclusion of each day's activities, we had networking sessions with the employees of the firm, and those people ranged from first-year analysts who are only a couple years older than us to managing directors at the very top of the hierarchy. So on the first night, I was on the 51st floor of one of the tallest buildings in the city, in this bar, private room, and I was talking with some of the other girls from the other colleges. You know, there were Ivy League girls all over the place. It was kind of intimidating. But I stepped away for a moment, and I went to get a drink on my own, and I turned around and saw a woman standing around sort of awkwardly on her own, and I looked on her name tag and saw that she worked in sales and trading. So I approached her, introduced myself, and told her I was interested in trading as a possible career path. She started asking me questions: why are you interested in this, and asking me what classes I'd taken. I told her some of the math classes I'd taken, books I've read. I told her about some investing I'm doing on my own. And slowly the conversation built up, her eyes started lighting up, and she said, well, I'd really love to get more women on the trading floor. So after a few more questions, she stepped back and looked up at me and said, what do you think of the markets? And she sort of smirked in a way that told me she's testing me. So I panicked for a second, and then I just started rattling off some headlines that I'd read that week, telling her what I thought the implications of those were, and rattled off some numbers that came out that morning and told her I'm sorry I missed the close today because I was in these lectures. And after 30 seconds of panic, I stepped back and she actually looked impressed. And she told me I was on the right track and that it seemed like I really follow these things closely, so I was very relieved. She went on to ask me then if I was applying for the summer analyst position at the bank. I told her I was in the process of it, but I wanted to meet some people who worked there before I applied because I didn't want my resume to just be thrown in the trash. And then I asked her for her business card, and she dug around in her pockets and said, oh, I don't have one on me. So I was a little disappointed. Then she took my notepad out of my hands and wrote down her email address and said, when you apply, email me your resume and I'll keep an eye on you. So I went off, talked to some other people, and then I headed back to Fordham for the night, and I was all excited, told all my friends, oh, this woman, she works at the bank, she wants to keep an eye on me, this is great, I might have a shot. But then for purposes of making sure I'd spell her name correctly in the email and things like that, I looked her up on Google and found her LinkedIn profile. And I was shocked when I saw that she was an MBA from MIT, she was a VP at Goldman Sachs for 5 years, and she was a director at the bank that I was visiting where she runs one of the trading desks. So my lesson here is always maintain your composure, always know what you're talking about, and just don't say anything that you may regret to someone you don't know because you just don't know who you may be speaking to.
All right, thank you so much. Next up, we have Brian. Great job.